Well, my name is Angela and all of the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. Here on the channel you'll find me chatting about my adventures in knitting, spinning, crochet, weaving, all of the fibre related things. Today is a vlog slash update video and we're talking all about socks again today. So I have recently received a wonderful package, actually more than one, with some beautiful socks that have been donated by members of the community here for me to donate to Socks for West Midlands Ambulance. And I've got a couple of videos that I've popped up throughout this year explaining about the appeal, so I'll link to those below if you're new here and you want to find out a little bit more. But we're now approaching crunch time and socks are being donated up until December. So for the next month or so, it's definitely going to be all about the socks for me. I'm going to try my darndest to make as many more pairs as I can for this wonderful cause. I wasn't planning on making this video yet. I was going to record an update about the socks that I've received. I'm now going to make a sort of update vlog combination just because I'm in need of a new pair of socks and some simple knitting. My dodgy back has decided to throw a wobbler again, and so the things that I had planned to do for the next few days are now not going to be possible. I'm having to do that thing where I sit for a little while, stand for a while, do some gentle walking for a little while. I just have to keep constantly switching between positions because boy, it's damned uncomfortable for me at the moment. So yeah, other plans are on hold, and while I'm feeling like this, sort of slightly in pain, mostly uncomfortable, I just need some really simple knitting to help me I get through the periods where I have to sit and try and distract myself. So I'm going to cast on some socks, and yeah, I'm going to do a fun pair of scrappy socks today. So that's why I thought I'd switch on the camera and combine a little bit of vlogging with an update, which I shall record later to show off all of the socks that I've received. So I'm going to cast on a pair of scrappy socks today, which I'm really excited about. Quite a few months ago, earlier on in this year, my lovely friend Caroline of Colourful Creativity sent me a huge bag of sock yarns, some of which I have sent off to be cranked up into sock tubes, others of which were small quantities for heels, toes and cuffs, or just whatever I wanted, Caroline said. So I am going to be raiding that bag today. So here is the little bag of bits and pieces that I've got left over, and I believe Caroline said a lot of these were her mum's leftovers, and a lot of these are in the sort of green, blue, purpley colour family. So I figured, because there's lots of small quantities, that rather than just save them for heels, toes and cuffs, I've got other yarns for that I would cast on just for a fun pair of socks. And I think I'm going to knit the socks concurrently so that they're somewhat matching. They won't be exact because obviously I'll be using little bits of leftovers and colour changes may happen. But my idea is to cast on two separate needles and knit a few rows at a time in each of the colours that I pick out of the bag. So I'm going to start that today and at least hopefully get the cuffs cast on. So I think my first job is going to be to find a reasonable size project bag so that I can decant some of these scraps into the bag. My idea is to use my bag as a bucket rather than a bag, just so I can see all of the scraps and leftovers, and then I can just have a rummage and choose my next colours as the time comes. So yeah, I'm just going to make some stripy socks, some reasonably wide stripes, maybe 10 rows or so of each colour, and just have fun playing with colour. I think simple knitting, playing with colour is exactly what I need to distract myself at the moment. Okay, so I've got my bag, which I've just folded the top over so it's become a nice bucket so I can see all of my colours in there. I do have a few other bits and pieces that were in the carrier bag. These are more sort of pinky, bright pink sort of tones, so I'm going to put those to one side and maybe save those for another project or put them back in for heels, toes and cuffs. But in my bag I've got all of the yarns that have got sort of blues and greens and a bit of purpley sort of tones to them. And then I've got this larger ball here, which is quite densely wound. It feels like it might be a cotton based sock yarn, but I feel like I'm hopeful that there'll be enough here for at least cuffs and heels, if not heels, toes and cuffs, for 2 pairs of socks. So I'm going to cast on with this and yeah, just see where we go, and then I'll be able to just play around with all of these beautiful leftovers and hopefully come up with a fun pair of socks at the end. A couple of days have passed and I'm still feeling a little bit sorry for myself, a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit in pain, but don't mind me. This will pass, it won't be forever. But I have managed to make quite a bit of progress on my scrappy socks, which I'm super happy about. So here we go. I haven't recorded any vlog footage because I just haven't felt like it. And also I've been sitting in all sorts of odd positions and lying knitting in all sorts of odd positions just to try and find a little bit of relief from the discomfort and pain. So hasn't really been vlog worthy, but this is the first sock and I'm working on the second sock, so I'm a little bit behind on the second sock. I'm just working on that last stripe. And what I decided to do, I pretty much exhausted all of the greens that were in the scrap bag that Caroline sent, and I was wondering whether to go straight to blues, but then I've taken a little detour with some purple. This has got some purple, blue and green in it, so I'm going to pop in the heel I think after this stripe, and then I'm going to move on to this lovely skein which is blue and purple, and then I'll go into the blues for the foot. So yeah, this has just been a really fun project, and it's kind of odd, it's kind of fun to see how all of these little bits and pieces from completely different yarns, completely different colourways, sort of meld, mesh and work together. So yeah, although my last couple of days haven't been great, this project has been bringing me a fair amount of joy, which is good. So I'm going to sit and knit for a bit, finish up this last stripe, and then hopefully this evening I'll pop in the heels, and then I'm hoping I'll be able to sit for long enough either tomorrow or perhaps on Sunday to record the main part of this video, which will be to show off the socks in the package that I'm about to send Jeanette. I've done an absolutely hideous job of actually making a vlog for this, so I apologise for that because my socks are nearly finished, but it's just been a funny few days, and with my back and some other things that we've had going on, we've been having some more building work done at home. Seems never ending with that this year, things going wrong and needing replacing. I just haven't really felt like sitting in front of the camera and updating you. But yeah, I've nearly finished my scrappy socks. So I've been knitting them sort of 2 at a time but on separate needles. so concurrently rather than 2 at a time. And yeah, just had a lot of fun raiding the scraps. And what I've been trying to do is let the colour that I was working with sort of inform my next choice, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So I went through a bunch of the green yarns, and then this yarn here had some purple and some blue in it, so I moved on to some purpley colours, and then I'm down to blues. And I've sort of finished my last yarn that I was working on was a sort of grey blue colour. So I've got this scrap here which has got greys and a sort of greeny grey and some blue, so I'm going to do 10 more rows in that, and then I'll be ready to pop in the toes. So yeah, I'm going to get on with that, and then I shall come back and share with you the lovely socks that I am ready to send off to the appeal. I know I've got more socks coming in the post in the next couple of days as well, but I'm not going to hold on to this vlog any longer. I'm going to get it done, get it edited and posted, and then the socks that come in over the next few weeks will go into the next box, and I'll do another video later on in the month. So now my socks are done, I am ready to package up this wonderful box of 20 pairs of socks to send off to Jeanette. So before I do that, I'm just going to give you a quick run through of the socks that I've made, and also the ones that have been sent to me for the appeal too. I love to show off the wonderful work that the community has been doing as part of this sock appeal. So aside from the scrappy socks that I made, I've got I think 7 other pairs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I have made that I'm going to be donating, and they're a mix of socks that I've knit from scratch, socks that I have turned into socks from sock tubes, and also I raided my sock drawer and picked out a couple of pairs that I knit quite some time ago and have decided to donate because I just never wear them. I did this earlier on in the year, and I thought I'd sort of parted with the socks that I wanted to part with, but I just have so many pairs of socks. I've decided to let a couple of other pairs go for this wonderful cause. It's not, I'm barely going to miss them, and hopefully they'll find a new home with someone else. So let's start actually quickly with those pairs. So I've got a pair of Foxy socks which I shall be donating, and I had so much fun knitting these, but I've just never worn them, and so I've decided I can let them go. So it's a pattern that I found in a magazine, I think, although I believe it's also been published in a book, and I can't remember the details and they don't really matter. But I have obviously 2 socks here, and I duplicate stitch the fox face on afterwards, and there's also Foxy written into the back of the heel, so I shall be sending those off. It's a little bit of a wrench because I love this colour and it's such a fun design, but as I say, I've never worn them, so if I want another pair of these for myself in the future, then I can always knit myself a pair. So that's pair number 1 that I shall be sending off. Pair number 2 I knit as a test knit, and I believe, I think it was a test knit, and again a lovely pair of colourwork socks, and I've just never worn them, so time to let them go, and hopefully they'll find a good home somewhere else. So here they are. I can't off the top of my head remember the name of these socks, but if I remember I'll link it below, and you'll find them on my Ravelry page. And they had this cute bunny design with the love hearts between the bunnies, and I think I knit these from Cascade yarns if I remember correctly. 2 colours of Cascade 220 I think. And as I say, again, I've never worn these. I probably tried them on once for photos, or maybe not even that as I often photograph my socks on blockers. So yeah, I should be letting those go off to the West Midlands Ambulance Appeal 2. I messed up the heel on this one. It's meant to be an Eye of Partridge heel, and I sort of went a bit awry on the bottom there, but I don't think anyone will notice. So those will be going into the box. And then I've got 2 pairs that I have knit and turned into socks from tubes, and I've shown these off I think last month in the last month's roundup, so I won't dwell on them too long. But I have this gorgeous autumnal pair. I love this colourway. Sort of blue and orange, which I love that colour combination, a little bit of purple as well, so slightly Halloweeny. And yeah, I put green heels, toes and cuffs with those. And then I have this fabulous sort of pooling and striping flashing pair of socks, and I added orange heels and blue toes and cuffs to those. Again, I think I've shown those ones off. And then I've got 3 pairs here that I knit from scratch, as I have been waiting for more sock tubes to come my way. So I have this pair, which I've shown these off, I know, on my roundup videos, but they have this speckly leg, and then I paired that with a solid for the foot. I have this lovely pair from the Robin colourway from West Yorkshire Spinners, and I knit a tube from all of the scraps. I had 2 balls of this sent to me, and they were slightly different weights, so I just knit one long tube with all of the yarn that I had, and then popped in red heels, toes and cuffs as a contrast for those. And then finally, this is my latest pair. This was from yarn donated by Angela in the box that she sent recently, and I just knit up what was left in this yarn, which I think was an opal from the ice cream range, which is not a current range, but I really love the sort of larger stripes in these, with the tiny little bit of sort of speckled yarn sort of separating the stripes. They're really nice, and I just put a navy blue for heels, toes and cuffs with those. So those are the socks that I have made recently in the last couple of months that will be going into the box. And now to show off the lovely pairs of socks that some of our community members have sent my way. So the first pair is from the lovely Beverly. Beverly is the Joyful Spinner over on Instagram, and you'll see Beverly comments quite often below my videos. Hi Beverly, if you're watching. And this is a gorgeous pair of opal socks that Beverly has knit from these lovely sort of pink colourway with a little addition of brown in there. I really love pink and brown as a colour combination. And I'm super grateful to Beverly. I know Beverly has had some issues with her hands and wrists, which mean she can't knit a huge amount at the moment. So I'm really grateful for the time that Beverly put into these socks to be able to donate them. And I'm sure they will find a home where they will be loved and appreciated. They are a beautiful pair of socks. And then I also have a package that was recently sent to me by the lovely Mary, and Mary was so kind to volunteer to take a few sock tubes off of my hands. So Mary added some heels, toes and cuffs to some of the sock tubes. But on top of that, she also knit a few pairs of socks to donate. And in the package, a lovely friend of Mary's, Sue, has also donated 2 pairs of socks. So thank you so much to Mary and Sue. Again, I really appreciate the time and the effort that have gone into these wonderful socks, and I would be so happy to receive any of these pairs. So I know they're going to be loved and treasured when they go to their forever homes. So first off, the tubes that I sent to Mary that she's turned into socks. We have this beautiful pair, and again I think this was yarn donated by Caroline, and again it's a wonderful sort of almost spiral stripe with a bit of flashing going on in that sock tube. And Mary has put this wonderful peachy colour for the cuffs and the toes, and a sort of bluey grey for the heels, and I love that colour combination. That makes for a super fun pair of socks. I really enjoy those. And then this is some drops yarn that I think may have been donated by my friend Sian. So thank you, Sian, for the donation. And wow, I love these so much. Mary has put this fantastic, like super bright orange for the heels, toes and cuffs, which mirrors the orange colours in the striping pattern of this particular yarn, and I just love how they look. So yes, I promise I will be popping these in the box and not on my feet. And then the final pair that Mary turned into socks from the tubes that I sent is this blue pair, and I'm not entirely sure where this yarn came from. Might have been another one that Caroline donated, but we were so lucky to have so many yarn donations that I've lost track along the line of who sent what yarns. So apologies if you recognise this as yarn that you've sent and I have miscredited it. But Mary added some lovely navy heels, toes and cuffs to this fun blue pair. So those were the first three. And then the other three pairs that Mary knit and sent were these. So I've got two pairs in this lovely colourway. So this one and, oops, cuffs everywhere, this one. So these are the same yarns, but they've got different contrasts with them, which is fun. So there is this yarn. The contrast that Mary's used really reminds me of a sock yarn that I had in the shop quite some time back. It was Araucania Ranco sock, I think. I'm sure it probably isn't that, but it just is really reminiscent of the colourways that I remember from that yarn. So they're really fun. There's lots of blue stripes and a little bit of purple on those. And then the second pair, Mary has gone for a slightly darker blue for the heels, toes and cuffs. And this, the heels, toes and cuff yarn, I'm not sure if it's, looks like, is it part of, I would say it's actually part of this yarn, so it's not a contrasting colour. It looks like it's, this stripe repeat is the same as this bit here. So beautiful. I love them, love them. So that's pair number two. And then the third pair that Mary has knit and donated are these lovely ones. These are the West Yorkshire Spinners Silent Night colourway. I recognise these. Mary's put a really lovely garter stick heel. I'm not sure how well that's going to show on the camera. So that looks really squishy and cozy. And then they're the two pairs in the package that Mary sent from her lovely friend Sue. I love this colourway. Look at that fun turquoise with the purple stripe and the deep foresty green. Such a fun colour combination. So that is pair number one from Sue. And then pair number two are this lovely green pair. There we go. Trying to line them up. Love that. I'm loving greens at the moment. Loving greens. So, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold these up. I will try. A whole huge pile of socks going off to Jeanette for the appeal. 20 pairs in total, which I think brings the total pairs of socks that I've sent to Jeanette. So pairs that I've made combined with pairs that have been donated by lovely members of the community. I think that takes us close to 65 pairs of socks donated, which is amazing. Look at all those fun colours. Oh, that orange is just making my heart sing. So yeah, that's everything that I have for you today. Just a quick reminder that if you are or have been making socks for the appeal, we need to get them to Jeanette by the beginning of December, ideally. If you are knitting and you are wanting to send them to me to send on, then they need to be in the post soon, as soon as you can, really. As I said earlier on, I know that I've got at least one more package coming my way. I sent some sock tubes out into the world earlier this year as well, so I'm going to chase those up and see if they're coming back to me or if they're going directly to Jeanette. I am going to be making as many more pairs as I can throughout November. It's going to be very sock knitting heavy in this house this month. I know I've got some sock tubes coming back to me soon, so I'll be adding heels, toes and cuffs like the clappers. So there will be at least one more socks video or Socks for West Midlands Ambulance video coming up on the channel before the end of the year. If you have donated yarn, if you have been knitting socks, if you have been cheering us along from the sidelines, then thank you so much for your support. I know Jeanette, last time I checked in, was a little way short of her target. I think she'd gathered about 150 pairs of socks out of the just over 400 that she is needing. So I'm hoping that she's going to get a good influx of socks in the next sort of month to 6 weeks, so that she gets to her target, and I'm going to do as much as I can, I know, to push those numbers up. So that's everything that I have for you in this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Let me know if you have a favourite pair of socks that I have flashed in today's episode. If you're working on socks for the appeal or for any other reason, if you're gift knitting or knitting for yourself, let me know what yarns you are using in the comments below. I would love to hear all about your sock knitting adventures. I'll be back again soon with some more making content, another video here on the channel, so I hope you will join me for that. But until we do get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now. Bye.